Quick Takes with Ed Masterson.
What does it mean double downing in amplification? And is this pretty much just in high end amps? And I want to, and the next part of that, I want to ask: is it good or bad in certain circumstances?
There's really just one answer with 437 parts. That's a pretty interesting question because it's, there's a lot of different theories on some of that. However, there's a few companies that, one in particular, Dan D'Agostino, formerly Krell, they kind of had I don't know if it was in there written down in their business plan or whatever, but they pretty much made amps that double down, usually more than once. And so I'll try and explain what I mean by that. We'll have to back up a little bit. So most people, when they talk about speakers, they say, "Oh, is that an 8-ohm speaker or a 4-ohm speaker?"
Right, right.
And you should answer the question by saying, "At what frequency?" Okay, because a speaker changes impedance depending on the frequency of the signal being fed. So maybe a speaker says it's 8 ohms. Hopefully, it's an average of 8 ohms. Many speakers say they're 8 ohms, and then it turns out they're an average of 6 ohms, and they drop to 2 at certain frequencies. It maybe go up to 16 at certain frequencies. Where they change, how fast they change, going from one impedance to another, okay, depending on the frequency, makes it more or less difficult on the amplifier to respond. And the way you could think of that is a race car in a very mountainous racetrack. The car is going to respond differently going downhill than uphill, no matter how good the brakes and the gas is. You get on the gas going downhill, it's going to accelerate real fast, compared to going uphill. So you could think of the speaker as this track that is up and down through the mountains, and so the guy's trying to go as fast as he can to keep up with it all, and go the right pace, I guess, for the music. But it needs to be able to control that speed perfectly, both on the uphills, downhills, and not get airborne over the tops, right? Because if you get airborne, that means you're not on the road anymore. You went too high. So the amplifier is what's the thing controlling that with the speaker. It's trying to track the audio signal perfectly. Obviously, it's changing super fast. That amp is trying to match it perfectly, moving the drivers in response to that signal. And it has to deal with the weight of the drivers, the way the room pressurizes. I mean, if you put a pair of speakers in a particular place in a room, you can hear the bass being compressed. And what's happening is it's trying to push, but it's in a place where there's high pressure. And so it's pushing in a zone where it's harder. Or if it's in a zone that's with low pressure, maybe it's even less effective. But the amplifier sees that. It knows how hard it's trying. Okay? It can feel the change in the weight of the load. The best amplifiers can just handle it. They just do it very, very well. So some people would attribute that to the amplifier having enough power in combination with precision. Because if you have wonderful precision, the ability to track it at some point, but then when you hit a really steep hill, you can't deal with it, and all of a sudden you're starting to slow down, then it means you really need more power. So, but you want to maintain your finesse. So, the best amplifiers have enough power to handle the most challenging load, racetrack, and but able to still handle it with precision, without overshooting, missing corners, that kind of stuff. So as these speakers change impedance, let's say it's at 8 ohms at one point, and it suddenly drops to 4 ohms. that's twice the power, um, demand. And if the amplifier can handle it, then it gets what it's supposed to. If it can't, it doesn't. If it drops to 2 ohms, the power doubles again. Holy cow. Better be ready for that. So the doubling down has to do with being able to handle the peaks. And what people don't realize is some of the peaks in music are much more extraordinary than you think. You may not think that much of it, but to the amplifier, it might be like, holy cow, that's Mount Everest. There's no way I could have enough power. But if the speaker can double down, once, that's great. Twice, that's about as good as you do normally.
Please subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you for watching.